Yeah, I mean, stablecoins are the killer app for global payments. I think what we've seen at Ripple, and Ripple has been in the payments business since 2012, by their very nature of being stable, and particularly...
Hey everyone! So as we're getting closer and closer to November, I've got to tell you, I'm absolutely buzzing about Ripple Swell this year, and here's why you should be too. Look, if you've been following crypto for a while, you know that Ripple Swell isn't just another conference. This thing is basically the Super Bowl of institutional crypto events. Seriously, every single year we see game-changing announcements, massive expansions, and sometimes even surprise acquisitions drop at this event. But here's what's got me really excited. This year feels different. This feels like it's going to be the event that changes everything. Whether you're holding XRP or not, trust me, you're going to want to pay attention to what happens here. These conversations literally give us a sneak peek into crypto's future. And get this, Anderson just dropped an incredible post about this year's lineup, and my jaw hit the floor. He said, "Get ready for Swell 2025 in New York. Never have there been so much private sector participation amongst the speakers at Swell. Big things are coming. Traditional finance is ready to implement crypto assets." Just let that sink in for a second. We're talking about NASDAQ, BNY Mellon, Franklin Templeton, Citi, BlackRock, Fidelity. These aren't crypto startups, folks. These are the absolute giants of traditional finance, and they're all showing up to talk crypto. This is huge, and I genuinely think we're about to witness history in the making. JPMorgan, MasterCard, CME Group, Moody's, State Street, DBS Bank, Bloomberg, Societe Generale, and many more. Okay, hold up. You guys need to see this image because it's absolutely mind-blowing when you really think about it. Picture this. It's 2020, maybe 2021. If someone had shown you this exact same lineup back then, all these massive institutions at a Ripple event, what would you have said? You probably would have laughed and called them completely delusional, right? I mean, come on. BlackRock, Citi, NASDAQ, State Street? These were the guys who wouldn't even say the word crypto without rolling their eyes. The idea of them sitting down for serious conversations with Ripple would have sounded like pure fantasy. But here we are in 2025, and this isn't fantasy anymore. This is just Tuesday. These powerhouse names are now casually chatting with major crypto companies like it's the most natural thing in the world. What used to be absolutely unthinkable has become so normal that we almost take it for granted. And that's exactly what makes this so incredible. We're literally watching history unfold in real time. This isn't just some gradual change happening in the background. This is a massive, seismic shift in how the entire financial world thinks about crypto. Think about that for a second. We went from crypto is a joke to let's have serious business discussions about crypto integration in just a few years. That's not evolution, that's a revolution, and we're witnessing it happen right before our eyes. Alright, so Anderson just shared something that literally gave me chills, and you're going to understand why in just a second. He's talking about why seeing Citi at Ripple Swell is such a massive deal, especially alongside JPMorgan. And here's the backstory that makes this absolutely wild. So there's this CNBC report that basically spells out the whole situation. Get this. While Ripple has been fighting this epic legal battle with the SEC, these global banking giants like Citi have been quietly raking in a mind-blowing $8 billion every year just from cross-border payments. $8 billion. That's their annual payday from the current system that Ripple is trying to revolutionize. But here's the kicker. And this quote from Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse is pure gold. He literally said, "I think Citi will be the last customer we ever sign up because it has the highest vested interest in not changing the status quo." Think about that for a moment. He's basically saying Citi makes so much money from the old, slow, expensive payment system that they'd be crazy to want it to change, right? So the fact that Citi is now showing up at Ripple Swell, and JPMorgan too, that's not just interesting, that's potentially game-changing. These are the exact institutions that had the most to lose from Ripple's vision, and now they're sitting at the table having conversations. This is huge, you guys. I mean, let's just step back and realize how absolutely insane this is. We're talking about the biggest banks on the planet, the names that everyone knows, the titans of traditional finance, and they're all showing up to an event hosted by a blockchain company. Like, think about that for a second. These aren't some small regional banks trying to make a name for themselves. These are the banks. The ones your parents bank with. The ones that have been around for decades, sometimes centuries. And they're willingly walking into a room to talk blockchain and crypto with Ripple. That doesn't just happen by accident, folks. There's no way this is some random coincidence where they all just happen to have nothing better to do that week. This tells us something massive. Ripple isn't just another crypto company anymore. They're operating on a completely different level. They've somehow managed to get the attention and respect of institutions that used to pretend crypto didn't exist. And here's where it gets even more interesting. We know that stablecoins are going to be front and center at this event. That's going to be one of the hottest topics they're discussing. And honestly, that makes perfect sense when you see this incredible lineup of traditional finance giants all in one room. Okay, so here's something absolutely massive that I need to bring back into focus. We're looking at a $300 billion stablecoin market that's literally about to explode into the trillions. And Ripple just dropped this bombshell announcement back in August that I think people are seriously underestimating. They said, together with SBI VC official, we are bringing RLUSD to Japan in early 2026, offering users and institutions a trusted, regulated, and fully backed stablecoin built for enterprise use cases. Now you might be thinking, wait, why are we talking about something from August? Why am I bringing this back up now? Well, here's the thing. About this RLUSD expansion in Japan? Well, here's exactly why this matters so much right now. Remember back in September, SBI and Ripple didn't just make some casual announcement. They actually signed a memorandum of understanding to distribute RLUSD in Japan. And here's why that's absolutely huge. They are prepared for this. They have been prepared for this for quite some time. Also, by the way, for those that actually don't know, and when they broke this down for us, they really pulled back the curtain on what's actually going to happen here. So here's what makes RLUSD so special. It's not just another stablecoin thrown together by some random startup. This thing is built from the ground up as a trusted, enterprise-grade stablecoin. And when I say enterprise-grade, I mean they've designed this with compliance and transparency as the absolute foundation. That's huge because, and here's what makes RLUSD rock solid. This isn't some sketchy fly-by-night operation. Every single RLUSD token is fully backed by premium reserves. We're talking US dollar deposits, short-term US government bonds, and other super safe cash equivalents. But here's the kicker. They're not just saying, trust us, bro. They've got a third-party accounting firm doing monthly attestations to prove everything checks out. That's like having an independent referee constantly verifying that all the money is actually there. This level of commitment to regulatory clarity is what absolutely sets RLUSD apart from other stablecoins and gives institutions exactly the kind of bulletproof security they demand. Now, here's where this gets really interesting. SBI Group isn't some newcomer trying to figure things out. They've literally been pioneering cryptocurrency and blockchain development in Japan for years. And get this, they were the very first company to get that super important electronic payment instrument exchange service provider license in Japan. That's like being the first kid on the block to get permission to run a lemonade stand, except we're talking about handling stablecoins worth billions. So when SBI says they're bringing RLUSD to Japan, this isn't just about adding another option to the menu. This is a game changer that's going to make stablecoins way more reliable and convenient for everyone in the Japanese market. And here's what I love about their vision. They're talking about this as a major step toward merging traditional finance with digital technology. They're literally building the bridge between the old financial world and the new one. SBI wrapped up by saying they're committed to working with Ripple to build safe and transparent financial infrastructure. That's not just corporate speak. That's them saying, we're in this for the long haul, and we're doing it right. And if we're thinking about what's going on here, right, this is not the first of many, rused expansions. And that Japan announcement, that was just one of the massive moves we've seen. We also got some incredible news about Africa, and honestly, it feels like every week we're getting more and more exciting updates about RLUSD. It's like Ripple is on this unstoppable roll, dropping major partnerships left and right. But here's why I'm bringing all of this back up right now. Well, it's because we just got this absolutely game-changing announcement on the 22nd that changes everything. SBI Group just partnered with Tobu Railway's affiliated travel company to issue prepaid tokens. Now, this might sound like just another corporate partnership, but wait until you hear who's behind this. This announcement comes directly from Yoshitaka Kitao, the CEO of SBI himself. And here's the part that's going to blow your mind. This entire system is powered by the XRP ledger. So we're not just talking about some random pilot program here. So here's what's actually happening. SBI Group is teaming up with Tobu Top Tours to launch these prepaid tokens on the XRP ledger. And these aren't just digital collectibles sitting in someone's wallet. These tokens can be exchanged for actual cash and spent just like regular prepaid cards at local stores. But here's where this gets absolutely massive. The prepaid payment market in Japan is worth $200 billion every single year. $200 billion! Whew. That's not pocket change, that's a massive chunk of the economy. And these tokens aren't just going to sit around, they're designed to circulate through regional economic zones, from tourist hotspots to sports communities, basically turbocharging local spending and digital innovation. Now here's what's got my brain spinning. The timing of this is absolutely not a coincidence. We just saw that huge announcement about SBI and Ripple distributing RLUSD in Japan, and now this drops? I'm calling it right now. I bet we're going to see RLUSD become a major part of this prepaid token system. Think about it. You've got $200 billion flowing through prepaid payments every year in Japan, and now you have the perfect infrastructure to make that digital and blockchain powered. This isn't just random news. All of these major announcements we're seeing are totally connected. It's like watching puzzle pieces fall into place in real time. And speaking of connected announcements, we've got another Ripple update that's going to blow your mind. All right, so we've got another incredible update here, and big shout out to Subjective Views for bringing this to our attention. Seriously, go check them out if you haven't already. But here's what Ripple is doing that's absolutely mind-blowing. They're not just building some random crypto product, they're constructing the entire backbone infrastructure that's going to help major institutions create, store, move, and exchange value throughout the entire system. Think about that for a second. We're talking about the plumbing of the future financial system, and Ripple is the one building it. Now, you absolutely need to listen closely to this video because what you're about to hear is going to connect all the dots we've been talking about.
And how do you think this cross-border payments benefit from the stablecoin integration?
Yeah, I mean, stablecoins are the killer app for global payments. I think what we've seen at Ripple, and Ripple has been in the payments business since 2012, we've seen really from the front row how stablecoins are being used increasingly. And it really has to do with the 24/7 nature of it, the ability to move value in a frictionless way. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's stronger in terms of a regulatory footprint. Again, if you are regulated like we are, it minimizes or negates a lot of the FX transactions that happen. It reduces error. There's a log in an immutable way using blockchain technology. So there's a dozen reasons why it's better. And we're already seeing the benefit of stablecoin adoption, not only in payments, but specifically within the Ripple payments. We've doubled down more recently. We've made an acquisition of a company called Rail that we announced last week, 10% of all stablecoin payment flows. It's a $183 trillion industry today, and I think a unanimous view is that stablecoins are going to be used more and more in the global payments business. And so we're excited about that. We're excited about bringing really a one-stop shop to that sort of solution for institutions who then also need better liquidity. We've got a trading and a prime brokerage business. Now you start to talk to corporate treasurers about how they're going to hold those assets, and we've got a custody business. So we think about the creation, building infrastructure to help institutions create, store, move, and exchange value around the system. And that's where we're investing from an M&A perspective, but also from a internal and organic development standpoint.
Okay. And they really are becoming a one-stop shop for institutional players, but also along with everything that they have to offer. And this brings us right back to that massive SBI announcement in Japan. When you really dive into what RLUSD is offering these major players, it's that rock-solid, fully compliant stablecoin that's absolutely crushing the competition. This isn't just another Me Too stablecoin. And on top of that, they continue to grasp even more licenses. Perfect example right here. Jack McDonald just dropped this incredible hint that Ripple is about to get an EMI license. Now, if you're not familiar with what that is, let me break it down for you because this is absolutely huge. An EMI license, that's Electronic Money Institution License, is basically the golden ticket for financial services in Europe. We're talking about official permission to issue digital cash, hold customer funds, and provide payment services like transfers and digital wallets across the entire European Union. And here's the kicker. This isn't some Wild West, unregulated operation. This is all under strict regulatory oversight, which means Ripple would be operating with the full blessing and protection of European financial authorities. This is massive, you guys. Check this out.
Would you like to add on?
Yeah, I would say two things. One, to your first question around what are the holdbacks or the factors holding back adoption, I think there's really three. One is comfort, which is going to come from education. And as we talked about earlier, stablecoins, by their very nature of being stable, and particularly when you look at certain stablecoins that are managed in a way, for example, how we manage ours, that we'll talk about in a moment, we're going to give great confidence to the largest institutions to use them. Second of all, regulatory clarity and tailwinds are going to encourage a lot of institutions to come out and adopt stablecoin usage. Then third, having the infrastructure in place to support that. I do think that there's a risk, and this has been suggested in part up here today, that maybe we try to put this new financial operating system on the legacy rails. And I'm concerned that that may actually hold back the potential, or we might try to do it in incremental steps and save money along the way and not actually be bold and innovative, because I do think that there's a better way. We can still work within the system. We're not trying to overthrow traditional financial systems, but I do think the opportunity with this new technology is pretty profound in terms of what we can do. Last thing I would say is that not all stablecoins are the same, and we've issued the gold standard of stablecoins, a dollar-backed stablecoin. BNY Mellon is our custodian. All of our reserves are in high-quality liquid assets. We come out of New York State. We're a fiduciary. We hold our customer assets in bankruptcy remote accounts, et cetera, et cetera. And as the legislation continues to evolve in different jurisdictions, whether it's in the EU where we'll get an EMI license, whether it's a country like Japan where we're partnering with SBI, we're walking through the front door of every regulator, and we're doing it in a regulated way, in a very compliance-first way. And I don't think that we're going to have the same sort of challenges that others are going to do to embrace the opportunity and to entice the largest institutions who want to come and get into this segment of the business by partnering with folks like Ripple.
And this is exactly what I've been talking about. Ripple keeps building up their infrastructure fortress by securing these massive licenses left and right. They're not just randomly expanding. They're strategically locking down compliance in every major market around the world. This is pure chess master level strategy, folks. Every single move they make is calculated. Look at their partnership with SBI. That wasn't just a handshake deal. All these expansions we're seeing with SBI, they're systematically cornering the global market, piece by piece. And remember when we talked about that whole Fortress Trust acquisition? That wasn't random either. This was a huge acquisition because it allows them to target the business side of the stablecoin market. Because if you guys do remember, right? So Fortress Trust already had this absolutely massive platform up and running. We're talking about processing over 10% of the entire $36 billion global B2B payments market. Let that sink in for a second. 10% of $36 billion. This acquisition was absolutely brilliant for Ripple. They didn't just buy some startup with a good idea, they bought a company that was already handling a huge chunk of global business payments. And this is classic Ripple strategy right here. They keep making these surgical acquisitions to strengthen their infrastructure to make sure that they can handle all of the big money movements of digital payments. And get this, Chad Steinberg straight up said that stablecoins are going to take over a $183 trillion industry. $183 trillion! And here's the kicker. Fortress Trust, which Ripple now owns, is already processing 10% of that massive industry today. This is exactly how Ripple plays to win, folks. They're not just hoping to get lucky. They're strategically moving into these key industries and securing huge chunks of market share. Their goal? To become the biggest institutional digital infrastructure player in the world. And honestly, they're well on their way. Look, we all know crypto adoption is only going to keep exploding globally. That's a given at this point. But here's what's got me so excited. Ripple is positioning themselves to absolutely dominate this space. Think about all the heavyweight names they're connected to now. All the networking they've done, all these incredible partnerships, and don't even get me started on their acquisition strategy. Every single deal they've made this year has been laser-focused on cornering specific markets and getting stablecoins integrated into those industries. This is why I am absolutely bullish about this upcoming Swell event. I genuinely think this Swell is going to be the moment where everyone finally realizes just how massive Ripple has become and How all these strategic moves Ripple has been making are going to be front and center. They're definitely going to showcase everything they've accomplished. But here's what's really got me on the edge of my seat. I'm absolutely convinced we're going to see some massive announcements drop at this event. Like, potentially game-changing stuff. And here's the thing. Every single move that we have been witnessing, from the announcement around SBI to even the smaller announcement with SBI, all of these moves are just stacking up and painting this incredible picture. What we're seeing is that 2025 has been absolutely unstoppable for the Ripple ecosystem. Nothing is slowing this train down. We keep seeing more and more XRP expansion, Ripple expansion, RLUSD expansion, and XRP is leading the charge on all of it. It's like watching a perfectly orchestrated symphony where every note just builds on the last one. So there you have it, guys. I hope you found this breakdown as exciting as I did. If this got you pumped about what's coming at Swell, definitely smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on those notifications, because I've got tons more free content coming your way. And hey, feel free to follow me on